Let's call to order the May 15th, 2025 Plan Commission. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Crumpton?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Orlando?
Here.
Mr. Perez? Ms. Radakovich?
Here.
Ms. Rohr?
Here.
Mr. Turk?
Here.
Chairman Kella?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the Plan Commission meeting minutes from March 20th, 2025?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crumpton?
Aye.
Mr. Martin?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Turk?
Aye.
Chairman Kella?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is citizens to be heard on agenda items. This section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding agenda items and are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. It is not a question and answer period, and staff and the Plan Commission members do not generally respond to public comments. One note, petition A-1-25, annexation of 824 Gale Drive has been withdrawn by the petitioner for the agenda, so if anyone is here to speak on that petition, that case will not be heard today. But anyone else who has comments on agenda items may do so now. You may also do so when the public hearing matter is called to order.
Hello, my name is Danette Dodson. I don't really have a voice, and I have sent this in to the comments, so I don't know if I need to repeat myself. Do I need to say these out loud now? I did send it in 2 days ago. Does it matter?
Could you specify what it's regarding? Sorry.
The Walter Adamick name change, street name change in the Mayfair subdivision, SN-1-25. It's listed at the end of your agenda today.
If you want to provide an overview of your comments, you're welcome to do so.
The overview is we moved in, we were the original builders in 1998 from John Leach Home Builders, and the streets were mostly named after prominent people from Joliet. Our street was, when we moved in, we were told it was Adamick Lane. About a year later, the Plainfield Post Office informed us that it was supposed to be Walter Adamick Lane per plats that they had received before construction had started on our subdivision. So since then, for about 27 years, we've used Walter Adamick Lane. In 2019, our driver's licenses were changed by the state of Illinois without our solicitation. So they did it on their own, so they are recognizing it as Walter Adamick Lane. And if you go on GPS, Realtor.com, Redfin, Zillow, everything will show Walter Adamick Lane. A house was recently purchased on our street, and it is listed in the May 3rd, 2025 Joliet Herald News as Walter Adamick Lane. So I would like everything to, and the reason for that I went to the city was I went to vote last October, and the girl hesitated in letting me vote because my driver's license said Walter Adamick Lane, and the voting rolls said Adamick Lane. So that's my most important part of getting this name changed to Walter Adamick Lane. That's it. Thank you. And I'm Danette Dodson from 6509 Walter Adamick Lane. Thank you.
Are there any other citizens to be heard on agenda items? Seeing none, we will move on to old business public hearing. There is none. Old business, there is none. Next item on the agenda is new business public hearing, and the first case, or series of cases to be called, is P-2-25, preliminary plat of City's Edge South, a minor subdivision, as well as V-3-25, vacation of 5-foot landscape easements and 15-foot public utility and drainage easements on lots 3, 4, and 5 in the City's Edge subdivision. The applicant is Tobro Ltd., who is also the owner and developer. Requested action is approval of a minor commercial re-subdivision and associated easement vacations. Purpose to create 2 lots from 3 existing lots. The existing zoning is B3 General Business. The location is 2631 Cities Edge Drive. Subdivision size is approximately 4 acres. Easement size, the 15-foot wide public utility and drainage easements and 5-foot wide landscape easements on the shared lot lines of lots 3 and 4 and lots 4 and 5. Existing land use is undeveloped. Surrounding land use and zoning: to the north, Forest Preserve with B3 General Business zoning. To the south, Forest Preserve with I2 General Industrial zoning. To the east, Forest Preserve with I2 General Industrial zoning. To the west, residential Village of Shanahan R2 single-family residence. Under site history, the subject site is lots 3, 4, and 5 in Cities Edge subdivision, which was recorded in 2005 as a 10-lot business park. Lots 3, 4, and 5 are buildable lots ranging from 1.1 to 1.5 acres that are currently undeveloped. 2 other lots in the existing subdivision have already been developed with multi-tenant commercial buildings for contractors and other general business uses. Storm detention for the subdivision is existing in Outlot A at the south end of the development. Under special information, the preliminary plat of Cities Edge South, a re-subdivision of lots 3, 4, and 5 in Cities Edge subdivision, will create 2 lots from 3 existing lots. Lot 1 will be 2.4 acres and Lot 2 will be 1.7 acres. The new lot configuration will create larger lots that allow more site plan flexibility for the proposed developments. Both lots will be developed with commercial buildings for small contractor shops similar to what already exists in the subdivision. The preliminary plat shows a conceptual site plan for Lot 1. There are no new roads created with the subdivision and no public improvements required. Cities Edge subdivision has existing landscape easements and public utility and drainage easements along all shared lot lines. As part of this re-subdivision, the easements on the shared lot lines of lots 3 and 4 and lots 4 and 5 need to be vacated. The existing landscape and public utility and drainage easements around the perimeter of the lots adjacent to the residential neighborhood to the west, Outlot A and Cities Edge Drive, will remain. NICOR has responded that they do not object to the easement vacation. ComEd has responded that they have equipment in the easement area. As of the writing of this report, the developer's engineering team is working with ComEd to determine if any part of the utility easement needs to remain. If needed, the plat of vacation will be revised accordingly. The developer will provide easements over any existing utilities within the subject site. Under analysis, approval of the preliminary plat of Cities Edge South, a minor subdivision, will allow 2 commercial lots to be created from 3 existing commercial lots, and that concludes staff's report.
May we have the petitioner, please?
Good afternoon.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, state your name and address, please.
Joe Hammer with Twig Technologies, 129 Capista Drive in Shorewood,
Okay.
representing the ownership. Staff's review of the information is accurate, and here for any questions that the board might have.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I got a couple. Excuse me, why are lots 4 and 5 are going to be vacated? Is there any reason?
4 and 5, 3, 4, and 5 are going to be redeveloped into 2 lots. We looked at developing individual lots for 3 lots, but Lot 4 of the subdivision is very difficult to put anything on once you take into consideration the slopes across the
Yeah,
lot.
because the cul-de-sac is back there?
Well, the cul-de-sac, and it's very shallow,
Okay,
so it's really a difficult lot to put anything on.
okay. I have another question here too. Is there going to be a detention pond to take care of Carey Street? Isn't Carey Street just to the west of that?
Carey Street is not part of this subdivision.
Oh, it's not?
No, there is an existing subdivision that, excuse me, there was an existing stormwater detention in the subdivision when it was originally developed, and we're going to meet the allowable coverage within the lots to make that work.
Okay. I got another question here for you. What type of buildings are going to be built in the future?
We're expecting multi-tenant buildings, much like what's out there now, to be built on the lots.
Okay. And I was told at one time that there was some building materials put on one of the lots, but it was never built for like a whole year. Is that true?
I don't have any information on that.
Oh, you don't?
I'm not aware of that situation.
One of the tenants out there told me that somebody was going to build a building and the lot, and there was building materials put on the lot, but it was never done.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with
Oh,
that
okay.
situation.
All right. I have another question here for you. Is this going to be mostly like a industrial park area of some sort?
Tenants would be within the zoning regulations, so small contractors in the multi-tenant buildings.
Okay. And there's a total of 10 lots altogether, right?
I believe so, yes.
Now, is part of that Schlesinger pump, is that a part of the development also?
No, they're in one of the existing buildings up on the northeast corner of the cul-de-sac. So
Okay.
they're in there, but they're not,
Are they privately owned?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're not familiar with them, huh? All right.
No, I don't have any affiliation with them.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Any other questions from commission? Any questions from the audience? Okay, hearing none, a motion's in order for P-2-25 and V-3-25.
So move. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Crumpton,
Aye.
Mr. Martin,
Aye.
Mr. Orlando,
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich.
Aye.
Ms. Rohr,
Aye.
Mr. Turk,
Aye.
Mr. Cox,
Aye.
Chairman Kella.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that motion carries. That item will be tentatively scheduled for the June 17th City Council meeting for approval. As previously stated, the next item on the agenda, A-1-25, annexation of 0.26 acres located at 826 Gale Drive, and classification to R2 single-family residential zoning, and approval and annexation agreement has been withdrawn at the petitioner's request, so that item will not be discussed today. Under new business, next item on the agenda is SN-1-25, street name change for Adamick Lane to Walter Adamick Lane. The applicant is the City of Joliet. Status of applicant is owner. Requested action is street name change. Purpose to officially change the name to the street name many entities already use for consistency. Existing zoning is, adjacent zoning is R2 single-family residential. Location is between Ruth Fitzgerald Drive and Frank Turk Drive. Right-of-way size is approximately 1,049 linear feet. The existing land use is a local street. Surrounding land use and zoning to the north, residential R2 single-family residential. To the south, residential R2 single-family residential. And to the east and west, residential R2 single-family residential. Under site history, Adamick Lane is in the Mayfair subdivision, which received preliminary plat approval in 1992 and was built out over the next few years. Adamick Lane is part of Unit 3, recorded in 1993, Unit 8B, recorded in 1997, and Unit 19, recorded in 1997. There are 20 residential properties with addresses on Adamick Lane. Under special information, the street name in question was recorded as Adamick Lane on the plats recorded with Will County in the 1990s. However, many entities presently referred to the street as Walter Adamick Lane. The city received feedback from Adamick Lane residents that they are having issues when voting or doing similar activities that require their IDs to match the official record. In response, the city is proposing to officially rename the street as Walter Adamick Lane. The change will affect 20 properties with addresses on Adamick Lane. If approved, the city will notify certain agencies of the street name change, such as the City of Joliet Police and Fire Departments, the City of Joliet Customer Service, Utility Billing Division, and the United States Postal Service. Property owners and residents will be responsible for notifying any private service providers, such as utility companies, banks, credit card companies, and mailed subscription services, and applicable federal and state service providers, such as the U.S. Social Security Administration and the Illinois Department of Revenue. The street name change will not affect existing house numbers. Under analysis, approval of the requested street name change will align the formal street name with the name already used by many agencies, and that concludes staff's report.
All right, thank you. Did you have anything else you wanted to add at this time?
I realized when he was talking, saying the agencies that would be contacted if the name went through, the 911 Will County Addressing Department was not listed on there. When I had gone to my initial inquiry about the name change, I was told the 911 Will County Addressing Department is the one where the voting rolls come from. So is it up to us to inform them of that? Will they take that information from me? Or is it up to the city of Joliet, if the name gets changed, to tell them that?
GIS, yeah. Yeah, that's something that the city will take care of through our GIS division.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Ma'am, one question.
Yes.
What was the address on your water bill?
My water bill is Adamick Lane. My ComEd bill is Walter Adamick. It's addressed to Walter Adamick Lane with a service address of Adamick Lane, of Adamick. The AT&T bill is in Walter Adamick Lane. And the NICOR and the water bills from Joliet are in Adamick Lane.
Okay, good.
So I have a little bit of everything. Is that it?
I was so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike, moving to, we have a second?
A second.
I'll second it. Is there any more questions? All right, call the roll, please.
Mr. Martin?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Turk?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crumpton?
Aye.
Chairman Kella?
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries with a recommendation for approval tentatively scheduled for city council approval on June 17th. That concludes new business on the agenda. Under new or old business, not for final action or recommendation, we have a presentation from fellow city planner Jane Bernhard on the Downtown Joliet Equitable Transit-Oriented Development Plan overview and status update.
How was the meeting last night? Did you get a lot of people down there?
It was great.
Great.
Yeah, we had over 120 people, maybe even over 130 show up. Very pleased with the amount of people that showed up, and then the input that was provided to the staff and the consultants. Yeah.
Yeah. I was out of town. I wanted to come down.
Thanks for listening to this presentation. So staff is going to be doing more of these going forward. So we want to keep the Plan Commission very much in the loop of these major planning projects that are recently been started or are going to be starting with the city of Joliet. I did a similar presentation earlier today to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So I'm looking at Bridget right now, but you know, the Plan Commission, as many of you do know, because you're on this, any zoning change that goes before City Council does start with the Plan Commission. So again, we really want to, moving forward, keep the Plan Commission very much in the know of these projects, which will touch regulatory measures as well as policies and programs here at the city. So this is the Joliet Equitable Transit-Oriented Development Plan. Tonight, I'm just going to give, this will be a brief presentation, but I'll start with some background. We'll talk about the planning process that's happened and what the draft plan, an overview of the draft plan, and then the draft action items, and then next steps. So just for some background, in late 2022, the city applied for a grant through the Regional Transportation Authority to evaluate development opportunities for what we call the Lions Lumberyard site, which is which was the former Lions Lumberyard, which is just south of the Rock Island Line train tracks, just south of the new Gateway Transportation Center. The city had acquired those over, I think, the 2000s. And for several years, there's been discussion about what could be a next step for those parcels. They were targeted to be parking originally, as well as to accommodate, and still are going to accommodate high-speed rail if and when that comes through that area. But we also wanted to explore development opportunities. So applied for this grant with the Regional Transportation Authority. We were successful in getting the grant with the caveat that we expand the study area to look at development opportunities within a quarter to a half-mile radius of Gateway Transportation Center. So that's what we did. The Regional Transportation Authority, along with the city, engaged the planning firm called Houseal Levine. So they've been our primary consultant for this project, and they had 2 sub-consultants underneath them working with us. The project kicked off in early spring of 2024, and we are in the final stages of the project. So I know Jason and Bridget were at the open house last night, so that was the open house on the draft plan. So again, I'm going to go over some of the elements of that. This is an implementation-focused plan that did evaluate existing market conditions and in the end recommends measures with these project goals in mind. So it's to create diverse housing opportunities that are not currently available, preserve attainable housing options for the existing residents, increase ridership on existing transit services, spur new investment in proximity to Joliet Gateway Center, enhance economic and cultural vitality of the downtown, advance mobility for residents, visitors, and transit users of all abilities, and improve connectivity of the Gateway Center to the broader downtown. So, where we started is we had a steering committee that was part of this project. We've done series of various types of community engagement. We had an initial open house back in June of 2024. That summer there was a survey that went out, 2 types of surveys, a mapping survey and then a questionnaire type survey. We held focus groups with downtown stakeholders. I think we did about 8 of those last spring, early summer. And then we've had various updates to the City Center Partnership and other stakeholder groups throughout up until the present. And then here we are. We have a draft plan that's been prepared, and the next steps would be the final plan. So it is a document. This plan is a document, and it has this is just an overview of the table of contents. The community profile has some data that it relied on, so the market analysis that was done in the demographic profile. There was another companion document that this community profile draws on and is in here, reviews the public engagement process. One of the chapters looks at the downtown through the lens of different character areas. So the south, they're calling the South Chicago Street Corridor. So coming up from I-80, that was an area. The downtown, as a lot of us call it, the downtown is the downtown civic center area. There was acknowledgement of the residential neighborhoods that frame the north and south sides of the target area, as well as institutional area, which was the area around Joliet Township Central High School. Oh, and then, land use and development chapter, an urban design chapter, multimodal transportation chapter. There is a chapter about specific development opportunity sites, and then an implementation chapter. So I'm gonna talk just a couple things here. So one of the most exciting things about this plan is that staff, along with the consultants, really took a comprehensive look at in the year 2025, what are our development opportunities and redevelopment opportunities. So we identified parking lots or vacant lots that were highly underutilized. We looked at buildings themselves that were underutilized or completely vacant, mapped them all out, and so this is in the plan. It draws all that information together, and it also identifies 3 catalytic sites, which I'll talk about towards the end of this presentation. Those are development sites that we feel really could be transformative to the city, to the downtown, if and when they were to be redeveloped. This is another subsection of the land use chapter of this plan. It talks about regulatory, policy, and programmatic changes that would add to being able to promote housing for all in the study area. I like this map because it shows the different types of housing, residential typologies in the areas, and I think it shows that there's a lack of housing in the downtown too, so it really graphically draws your attention to that. Skip something? No. Urban design chapter looks at public realm enhancements, it looks at private realm enhancements, and ways we could promote safety and the perception of the downtown and the downtown area, and as well as evaluates navigation and wayfinding. The multimodal transportation chapter looks at ways to support multimodal transportation options, create transit-friendly streets, and safe travel conditions. So this is a snapshot of a full spread of this create safe travel conditions subsection. So it looks at different improvements that could be installed or attempted in our downtown area, and then identifies where those improvements would go, or what areas could benefit from those improvements. And each subsection of this plan kind of has a similar format, so it has some text on the left side or pictures and graphics, and then the right-hand side tries to show where in the community this would go. This project focused heavily on 3 specific sites, which we are calling the catalytic sites, one of which indeed is City Hall here, and the other is the BMO Harris Drive-Through Bank site, and then the Lions Lumberyard site. Well, here is a conceptual sketch of what could be at this location you were sitting at. There was a new building here that was geared towards residential, with some commercial on the main floor, parking in the interior. And then the next site that they spent time doing sketches of is the BMO Bank drive-through location, which I will note was also identified in the 2015 downtown plan. So this isn't a new site that was presented to us in this planning process. It's continued to draw interest from our consultants and staff because there's not a lot going on there. The bank does use it, so for their drive-through purposes, but the rest of the parking lot is not well utilized. So again, looking at a commercial on the first floor, what would that look like with residential up above? And then this is the Lions Lumberyard site. So the other 2 sites we just looked at were single owners. This is a conglomeration of multiple owners, so it really did look conceptually at this entire area. It didn't just focus on what the city has under their control, which is, again, the city of Joliet does own some property down here. It also took into account property owned by the Joliet Housing Authority, as well as Metra owns a commuter lot there, and it also looked at land that is currently being used for industrial purposes. And this was their final conceptual sketch. They went through various iterations of different land use concepts. And then the draft plan concludes with an implementation chapter which reviews how the plan can be utilized and updated, looks at funding sources at the federal, state, regional, local level, and then it talks about the different types of actions. I think the number of action items is 70 some. I'm not going to go through all those with you today. I'm just going to show you the first set of 6, but this is kind of what you would see in the action matrix. So we've highlighted the ones that have been given a priority level, and And you can see there are, a lot of those are zoning related. What else can I say? I told people last night that staff has meticulously gone through these action items, and not just me and my planning colleagues over here, it involved economic development staff, as well as our city engineers. Sean back there. Oh, he left. Okay, well, Sean, yes. So the city engineers, we did go through all of these to make sure these were action items that, were realistic and not pie in the sky. So we are pretty proud of this plan at this point, and this was vetted by the steering committee and then vetted last night as part of the processes at the open house. So it is still a draft plan, and which leads me to next steps. There will be a comment period, so we've gotten questions, well, can I see all the action items? The answer is yes. We're hoping by next week that the full draft plan can be up on the city's website for comment. It will come to the Plan Commission for an official review and recommendation to the council, and we're anticipating that would be at your June meeting. So this would become an actionable item for the Plan Commission, and then the goal would be to go to City Council in July. And that's my overview of this project at this point. Again, there'll be another more formal presentation on the draft plan at your June meeting. That's what we're aiming for a recommendation. I can answer any questions.
I got one question
Yes.
for you. Has there been any development been done at the old Lions Lumber property yet?
No,
Nothing at all?
no,
Okay, so are the buildings still there, or?
no,
they-
we tore those down.
Oh, they're all
Yeah, it's a
down?
blank slate
Okay.
right now. Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Part of this plan, has there been any proposed like funding sources for it as well? I mean, this is a long-term plan, right?
Yes.
So, is that included in this, or is that within the initial study that was contracted out, or how does that work?
Well, so the plan, let me go back here. Oh, it doesn't have it on this version. So yes, there's potential funding sources that have been identified for these action items.
Awesome.
The city's already applied for a grant to attempt some zoning updates. So from the Regional Transportation Authority, and again, the nice thing about having a plan that a city has adopted or close to adoption is that you can point back to that there has been a public process, there has been interest in the community to support those things. So when you do apply for grant funding, you can prove that to the funders. And I told people last night too that, if you think about it, most of these action items have some level of money involved with it, whether it's a reprioritization of staff time from A to B, or if it's prioritization of funding from one thing to another, or we're going to seek funding from other sources.
Jane? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So it's probably going to be federal money, state money, city money, private investment also?
Yes.
And then is there any type of, any cost, what the total cost built out when it's totally done would involve?
No, I don't
Not
know.
yet.
We haven't, no.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the city hall, you're showing that completely gone. Where's that going to, or has that not been discussed yet?
It hasn't been discussed where it would go, but again, we've moved through this process with the blessing of the administration meaning the mayor and the city manager, to show what conceptually a new or redevelopment of this site would look like. Mayor has mentioned before that he's interested in a new city hall. Now, how that gets done is not
Okay.
part of my
That wasn't
involvement.
part of it. And the BMO drive-through, you would have to approach them and see if they're
Yeah, the
willing to do that.
city staff has approached them, and they are aware that their drive-through lot has been identified now for the second time as a potential. I mean, actually, it was 10 years ago even, it was the first
Yeah.
go-around. And I'm not even sure the 1990 plan could have done the same too, but yeah, so we are seeking their feedback.
And hopefully,
Yeah,
I mean, it would be good, right there by the train station, with residential above and stores and the bottom, and, some kind of food.
Right.
Food items there too would be great.
yeah.
And then I noticed on the map, you know, when they were showing those crosswalks, that, you know, but on Chicago Street, you didn't show anything on your map. You were showing everything on the east side. I don't know if it's just an overlook on the map.
Let me see.
Yeah, see how the red circles were all.
Right.
But nothing going up Chicago Street, you know, downtown. I would think you would want the same thing as either the islands or the raised curbs there.
Well, is that IDOT?
Well, so I mean, I think
Well, that could be.
I'll look into that.
Because I know
My
when the
first-
sidewalks were getting done, that was one of the big things. Because I remember asking city staff about that, like, oh, do you guys know what's happening with the sidewalks? And I kept getting told, like, oh, IDOT controls that, so that's not necessarily our jurisdiction.
Yeah. Well, I'll also say this Chicago Street from Jefferson to Cass right now is being redone. So that is probably why those are not flagged at at those locations at this point in time. But I think you raised a good question. I'll find out if there was a reason why other areas weren't highlighted.
Some of those highlighted areas too on Eastern and Cass were driven by resident feedback that we've already gotten on pedestrian conflicts in those areas, and I think that's also why those areas were highlighted here, specifically, you know, right around Central High School and, you know, those 3 intersections that you see on Cass Street. But yeah, we can still, like Jane said,
Yeah.
incorporate that comment.
You're right. Yeah, when the high school's in session, that's a bit busy 2 streets there. You're right.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have one comment. I saw this last night and I mentioned something to somebody. I understand like on this page we're on with the improvements toolkit with the pedestrian island and the curb extensions. I'd just like to, well, Sean's gone, but I would just like to mention as a person who might have done snow removal in its past life,
Yeah.
that doesn't help in the wintertime cleaning everything up. It'll probably make it worse unless the city has, I know they try to do some of this walks down here, but
Yeah.
just a point to remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. That would be a nightmare.
You're talking about the curb extensions? Yeah.
Well, like the refuge island or the curb extensions, even the raised
Yeah,
cross.
the raises, yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? No? Thank you, Jane.
All right. Thanks.
Very informative. Okay, anything else? So we have a motion.
So next on the agenda is public comment. This section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding non-agenda items and are allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. It is not a question and answer period, and staff and plan commission members do not generally respond to public comments. Is there anyone from the public wishing to comment on non-agenda items?
No?
Seeing none, a motion for adjournment would be in order.
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.